The eighth spirit of the Goetia is Barbatos. So let me go straight into the Goetia and then I can go into my experience of this spirit. So let me try and read this. The eighth spirit is Barbatos. He is a great duke and appeareth when the sun is in Sagittary, with 4 noble kings and their companies of great troops. He giveth understanding of the singing of birds and the voices of other creatures, such as the barking of dogs. He breaketh the hidden treasures open that have been laid by the enchantments of magicians. He is of the order of virtues, of which some part he retaineth still. And he knoweth all things past and to come, and concilieth friends and those that be in power. He ruleth over 30 legions of spirits. His seal of obedience is this, and then it's the sigil which you will wear, etc., etc. So, quite a bit to unpack there. Some of it is written, obviously, going back a very long time when the Goetia was written. This is not how we write or communicate now in the English language. But one of the most interesting things, and one of the things that drew me to this spirit, was the nature side, the ability to understand and communicate with animals, whether in person or astrally. I've had to use the astral option for reasons I'll get into in a bit. But that sort of understanding and connection to animals and nature is incredibly strong with Barbatos. Now, before I go on more in depth of my experience and what I think are the benefits of working with the spirit, let me just quickly go through some of the correspondence. So the 8th spirit of the Goetia, the N is Aveta Fubin Barbatos. This spirit has the rank of Duke. He is often associated with Astaroth, as in working underneath the energy of Astaroth. The direction is north. Barbatos is a fire element. There is some earth element in there as well, but predominantly fire. The tarot is the 9 of Swords. Planetary alignment is Venus. The dates of this spirit, we've got 2. We've got the 25th to the 29th of April and the 23rd to the 27th of November. In terms of zodiac, this spirit is assigned to Gemini. If you're going to use incense, I would recommend sandalwood. And if you were going to give offerings, herbs in particular, I would recommend ivy, ground ivy if you can. Catnip is very good. In terms of sort of general offerings, I feel anything nature-based, that could range from a steak, because animals are part of nature, to some kind of wooden carving or a plant or even tree. But I've always found that something nature-based, this spirit is very, very connected to particularly woodland and trees and the spirits of the forest and things like that. Now, I don't think that this spirit is a variation of Pan. I think Pan is something very different, but there is a lot of similarities. There is some potential sort of crossover, you may say. How this spirit appears is similar in a way. From my experience, a man with a very powerful aura about him, but kind of what you would call slightly unkept, quite a unruly beard, very strong, often with a staff. A lot of people that go hiking have something like that, but I think this is more associated with an instrument to wield that power, and the staff is made of wood. But I've heard, and it completely fits like correctly, sort of, with me, energetically, that part of the aspect of Barbatos is sort of the guardian of the forest and animals, and that really makes sense to me. So the aspect that originally drew me to the spirit, which was understanding and communicating with animals and understanding their language on a deeper level. Let me just explain that in a bit more detail. So animals have obviously their own communication, their own language, so to speak, whether that's cats, dogs, different breeds of birds, cows, they all communicate very effectively with each other. We just don't often have the ability to understand what they're actually communicating to us or other animals. So what Barbatos can do is allow us to feel these emotions more. Animals are very instinctive. They obviously don't use language in the way that humans do, so they have to go on micro expressions of energy, of emotion, how they're interacting with each other. Is this aggressive? Is it playful? All of these sort of survival instincts that a lot of humans kind of disregard, or we don't even need anymore because we have flowery language that we use. Working with Barbatos, if you can sort of focus on a specific animal, you can start to feel these emotions, start to feel these interactions in a way that is you're able to communicate back and forth. Now, you can do it astrally as well. So I have a situation where I have a cat, but my cat is being, let's just say he's been held hostage by my ex-partner, and it's kind of, I don't even want to get into it, but it's an arsehole move. But anyway, one of the ways that I sort of have kept this relationship up without being able to actually see him is to astrally communicate with him, and it's been a lifesaver. I know it sounds, possibly slightly stupid, but I am incredibly close to my cat, my best friend, effectively. So I at least now have that opportunity to communicate, and it's quite a strange experience, but the communication does come back as well. So yeah, if you want to communicate, if you have pets, or just animals in general, if you want to feel more connected while you're in nature, Barbatos is absolutely amazing to work with and can really enhance those abilities and feelings. Now, one sort of slightly strange aspect that was worded very weirdly, and I kind of struggle to read it because of my dyslexia, but I kind of know what the meaning is that Barbatos has the ability to reveal treasure, reveal hidden items that have been concealed by magicians. So what does that mean? Does it mean that magicians are going off into the forest and digging a hole and putting gold in there? Not really. It's more valuables to a magician. So it could be an astral grimoire, something that's been sort of hidden from the world and is placed in this astral realm, and only the magician that created it or selected the people have access to it, to this knowledge. Barbatos can absolutely help you uncover these things and to connect with them, to not steal them, because I don't think that's ever the intention, but to use them, to learn this hidden knowledge. I don't think it is referring to, could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident it doesn't mean that magicians are hiding valuable things. He also really has quite an amazing skill of being able to smooth out hurt feelings, misunderstandings, when a relationship has gone bad, particularly when like friends fall out and it can become quite sort of nasty. Barbatos is great for sort of removing that energy, smoothing things over, bringing people back together that, you know, shouldn't be at war with each other or disagreeing. It kind of, I think the best way to word it is he can assist with people disagreeing, but not being disagreeable. So to smooth over, particularly in sort of this, you know, this period of humanity, sort of, you know, the 2020s, for various reasons, people have lost the ability to disagree. It goes straight to just all-out war rather than I think this, you think that, we can still be friends. Now it's, you know, if I'm left, you have to be left. If I'm right, you have to be to the right politically. And, you know, we can't interact. We can't have any middle ground, which is fucking bullshit. But that's society at the moment. But anyway, Barbatos is fantastic for working in those sort of family disagreements, friends, partners, etc. You can really change that energy and help with those difficult emotions of having, you know, really hurt feelings. He can help remove that or rebalance you. Now, on saying that, there is something to be not cautious of, but just aware of. Bringing peace is quite a responsible position, and that doesn't mean that that's an easy thing to do. Sometimes force has to be used. So if you know, someone needs to be sort of put in their place, a kick up the arse, and that will sort of calm things down. That's how Barbatos is going to make this work. He can also really help with understanding dreams and just anything astral based as well, but particularly understanding the difference between an omen, a warning, or some hidden knowledge that's been revealed, and a coincidence. And some people can really get wrapped up in just a coincidence, and they'll base, you know, their next life decision on this thing that actually means nothing, and they've kind of missed something that you know should have stood out and should have meant a bit more to them. Barbatos is great with that kind of work of discernment, the difference between an omen and just a synchronicity, a coincidence. He's also great for protection. Now, you know, going back to the sort of the guardian of the forest and animals, that protector, that sort of parental kind of figure of nature, that kind of expands into protection in general. So if you have any sort of nasty things, any attacks going on in your home, Barbatos is right at the top of the list of spirits I would recommend to bring in that protection for you, your family, your pets that may live in your home, or just the home in general. And working with him, he can sort of guide you through that process. But in general, from my experience, just invoking that energy into your home just sort of brings that natural protection. Interestingly, and you know, quite relevant for me, he's also amazing to work with, and I think this also ties into the connection to Pan. Pan was very musical, but Barbatos is great for assisting with musical skill, with song in particular, but also inspiration of song. If you are a musician and you've hit that wall of you just feel creatively just sort of blocked, Barbatos can really open that up with you. But also on a more spiritual level, to understand what music is, how it affects us, how you can affect other people, how you can express your spirituality, your true self through music, and just manipulating these sound waves, this air moving, is an incredibly important aspect of life. Okay, I think that's enough on Barbatos. I think I've covered my experience quite a lot, but if you do have any sort of connection to this spirit, if you feel drawn, if you want to really connect with nature in a more deeper level, whether that's animals, trees, forests, and anything nature-based that you feel drawn to, try Barbatos. He's absolutely incredible. The usuals, thank you for watching, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do, but thank you.